a massive manhunt is underway for George and Jennifer Hyatt after their bloody escape from a courthouse in Kingston, Tennessee.
I was making my 5th attempt to break out of prison. This time I had the help of my new wife, prison nurse named Jennifer. They make it like, oh, he manipulated her, he conned her. It wasn't that kind of thing.
When I first got with George, it was just like having blinders on. I had gotten my child support check, and I went out and I bought everything.
This probably was going to go bad, and it probably was going to be a shootout.
I was in prison serving 35 years for robbery and assault, and I was facing more charges. I knew it was going to be a long time before I'd ever get out. I had it pretty good in prison. I was a gang leader.
Hey, Bray, Junior told me you own some money, man. What's going on?
There are wild gangs in Tennessee prisons, and I was a major drug dealer.
Yeah. And make sure you pay up, Brad.
I got it.
Okay.
And I managed to keep myself popular with prison staff.
Hey, Robert, how you doing?
Because I also worked hard in the medical department and had a personal relationship with all of them. I mean, we were like a family.
Hey, Greg.
George is a very slick man who knows the system and knows how to manipulate the system and use it to his advantage.
I had a court date set to meet with my lawyer, seeing if I was going to go to trial. So they transported me over to the courthouse. We were upstairs waiting for my lawyer. Then one of the officers, Randall Ridenour, starts speaking to another officer about how lax security is.
You want to escape, go right ahead. I ain't gonna die trying to stop you.
Anybody could pull up with the door open and I could jump in and they would let us go. But I've been on the run before and it ain't no life. Then I met Jennifer.
I was finishing up nursing school. I was already hired for the prison. I knew where I was going. But it didn't seem scary at all. It was exciting. I enjoyed it. I really did at first. But over time, it kind of went downhill. It started getting really bad whenever I would go into the pods of the guys showing themselves to me. I keep telling them, you know, if I want to see it, I'll ask. And it got to the point where Sergeant Smith was like, well, we need to get you an escort.
Jennifer?
Yeah.
This is George. You been having trouble with some of the other inmates? I've asked George to look after you.
I've always been attracted to the bad boy stereotype, I guess. And George is one of the head people of the Gangster Disciples.
Well, I'm gonna be around here if you need anything, over.
Okay.
He's very intelligent, is very observant. And my assessment would be you couldn't trust a single word that came from his mouth.
So as soon as I started providing protection, it kind of stopped. I think she was kind of fascinated with me and it went from, oh, he's looking out for me, to little things getting said.
He's got the moves, that's all I can say.
She attaches herself to other people. Her value became attached to George Hyatt.
I had already started divorce with my husband, and it was just me and my 3 children.
I got my brothers involved for extra security.
George, do these guys have to be with you all the time?
Then one day I found myself seeing her in a way that I was really turned on by her.
Get the hell out of here.
I liked her spunk and courage.
Get out of here. Big death.
And it took some balls to talk to killers like that. I kind of think that's hot and gangster from a female.
When I first got with George, it was just like having blinders on. And I'm like, no, he's a good guy. He just got a bad deal. He needs somebody to care for him. And I do.
Before I knew it, man, I was just head over heels in love with her. She had had a lot of heartaches in her, and she was being there for me, and I was being there for her.
We had pretty much anybody watching out for us, where we could be alone. He gave me $100 and says, here, go get your nails done or your hair done. It was that attention that I guess I've craved pretty much all my life. And it just pulled me in deeper and deeper and deeper.
Who knows what he may or may not have said to her at some stage out in that prison in West Tennessee. What promises of love and romance and the future might hold, we don't know.
For 6, 8 months, everything was cool. Everyone was cool with it. But when they see a white woman falling all over a black man that's also an inmate, well, it doesn't take that long for everything to flip completely. And it did.
One day I brought shrimp in. I gave it to him. One of the officers saw me give it to him. So he ended up writing a statement against me.
I'm gonna have to let you go.
I guess I felt it was unfair. I bring in some shrimp and you're gonna fire me over it? At that point, I was like, I won't hear from him anymore. He won't call me anymore. I was just being used. I was back to the point where, what am I gonna do now? I don't have anybody. Nobody loves me. Nobody is there for me. So I couldn't just say, okay, whatever. Because I was too attached at the time. He had a cell phone that I had brought to him.
Hello?
I said, I never thought you'd call me back again. And we talked constantly. He asked me to marry him.
And I pronounce you husband and wife.
Jennifer Hyatt was a follower,
It's time for her to go.
a person who attached themselves to someone who would guide them and lead them. In this case, a long-term criminal.
I told her, you know I've never been married. So this is the one and only time I want to get married. We have to make this work.
Hey, babe.
It was a Saturday.
How you doing?
They let us have an hour together.
We talked about escaping. That's when she was like, we've got to do this. And I'm like, well, you know, we need to think about it. We got kids. And she was like, no, if you love me, this is what we'll do.
You want to be with me?
Maybe on to something later.
I told her I would see what I could come up with. Security was lax, and I had an idea about how it would work.
He got back in his cell and he called me. He's like, well, sometime next year I've got a court date that I've got to go to trial.
Okay, babe.
I said, okay. He's like, be the perfect time to break me out. We were talking about the escape a year ahead. It wasn't going to happen for a year. But he said, you know, get an extra vehicle, work towards that, get some money saved up, buy a gun. I mean, he gave me a whole list of stuff to do. Finally, I sent my kids to their dad. I told him that it was their summer vacation. I had gotten my child support check. And I went out and I bought a gun. I go hunting. I use rifles and shotguns. Never bought a pistol.
How much is it?
$300.
And so I bought it and bought ammunition. guess it was about 2-3 months later. Well, we were talking, an officer came to his door and he's like, hold on. And he got back on, he's like, well, that was strange. He told me to pack, I'm leaving in the morning. It's a court date. It was a robbery charge. He's like, all you need to do is, as we're pulling in, pull it behind us. When they get me out, walk up behind them with the gun, tell them to put their hands up, take their guns, and put them in the van. I mean, that sounds simple enough.
The morning of the court hearing, I still didn't know who was going to escort me. I was hoping it would be Randall Ridnour.
You want to escape, go right ahead. I ain't gonna die trying to stop you.
I just prayed it wasn't going to be the regular guys. Porky Harris and Cotton Morgan. Because they're just upstanding guys and top marksmen. And they're not gonna go for this.
Ready to go?
It was Ridnour.
Go on, let's go.
I was thinking, I don't know when he's gonna be working again, so we gotta make it happen today.
I went to the courthouse. I was sitting in the back part of the parking lot. I just remember the anxiety of what's gonna happen next, what's gonna happen next, what's gonna happen next. I seen him getting out of the van. I was scared. He turned around and looked at me. And I just couldn't I couldn't get out of the truck. So we got upstairs and they let us go in the conference room.
Sit on the chair, other side of the desk. Keep your hands where I can see them. No touching, no contact.
Hey. We were sitting upstairs at the courthouse and I kept saying, it's perfect now.
I'm like, I can't do it,
Today, baby. Okay, today. That's perfect.
He was so adamant that I'd do it that day, and I was so scared I didn't want to.
I got what we need.
And I kept telling him, we aren't ready, we aren't prepared. Excuse after excuse. I wasn't agreeing to do the escape that day. So he told him to take it to trial so that he could come back to court again.
Trial date set for August 9th, 2005.
I don't know why I ever caught up with her and trusted her in the first place if she can't stand on her commitment.
And then I'm like, oh, he's gonna be angry. That was the first thing. I'm like, oh, he's gonna be really angry. He finally called me.
Hello? Hello?
You stupid bitch, what do you think you're doing? And I'm like, calm down.
You know what, Jay? We're done.
What?
You hear me?
No, don't.
We're done.
And I didn't want him to be done with me. I said, don't worry. I'm doing what I need to do. It's okay, baby, don't worry.
So from that point forward, she said she started setting up everything. Getting together money and a getaway vehicle. Really, I thought it was a bunch of hot air. And her getting desperate because she knew I was getting ready to break up with her.
Miss Betty? Jennifer? Hi. I'm so glad you're back.
She moved in with an old woman called Miss Betty to take care of her husband.
Yeah, whatever Sarah her name was.
She would have access to lots of things that could help us with our plans.
Yeah, I'd like to transfer $5,000 from Miss Betty Dye's account. Perfect. Thanks. Bye.
We realized we need to change cars quick after the escape.
Miss Betty? I'm just gonna take your van and get serviced, okay?
So we planned to place Miss Betty's van near the courthouse. couple of days before my trial was set to start. I was just a nervous wreck and I hadn't slept. I was worried about who was going to take me to the courthouse. I was hoping it would be Ridnour. Because if it was Cotton, this was going to go real bad. It was the morning of my court date. I was still hoping Ridnour was going to take me. And then the guard comes to my cell.
Morning, Judge.
It's Cotton.
The 9th of August, we was going to escort George to Rowan County Court, me and Wayne and Morgan. We call him Cotton. Well, over 6 years, we've been in transportation, and we've never had no problem where we would have to draw our gun or threaten an inmate. Well, when we was transporting him to court that morning, he talked to us. He was a little nervous probably from his case.
Anybody meet you, George?
Yes, sir.
I guess that's common, going to court. You know, don't know what the outcome of it's going to be.
I knew there was too much room for something bad to happen. If I got shot, so what? But I wasn't willing to put nobody else in danger.
It was about 8:20 when we arrived, which the courthouse was open.
Here we are.
I went to the courthouse. I was sitting in there waiting for him. And I've seen the van come in.
The plan was for Jen to come at us when we first get to the parking lot.
So I pulled in behind it.
My mind was running at 100 miles an hour, and my questioning the whole thing was becoming stronger and stronger.
I'd stopped behind him. And I seen him getting out of the van. I was getting ready to get out of the truck.
I was thinking everything is too tight. I just shake my head.
It's like, what, are you backing out now?
Let's just scrap this and we'll come up with something else.
He just didn't want to go through with it.
While we were in the holding room with George, his wife, Jennifer, come in, and she had a bag of clothes for him. I took it from her and shook it down myself. I searched it. There were a lighter in it.
You can't have no lighter, Jennifer.
We would just have to get back to the court during my trial and replan everything.
George, how are you? George, the prosecution has agreed to a plea bargain for 6 years. I strongly suggest that you plead out.
That meant we wasn't coming back to court after today.
Plea? We ain't talking about no plea. He was seeming a little upset, you know. He was wanting to go to trial.
I strongly suggest you accept the plea.
George. Cotton was comforting him.
George, you've done the best you could do.
Said under the circumstance, you probably ended up getting a lot more time if you went on to court. Jennifer, she acted a little nervous, but he did too. But they was acting like they didn't know what they was wanting to do, whether it'd be best to plead out or go ahead and go on to trial.
Whatever we're gonna do, we need to do it today.
We gonna do today. We gonna do today.
So I agreed to the plea, and I knew it would mean that today was our last chance to break out. So when we get outside, they're taking me to the van.
As he's getting in the van, I had a hold and steadying him.
I don't see her, so I step up.
And as he stepped up on the van, he looked over the door. I couldn't see over the top of the van door from where I was at.
And then there she is.
I got out. I went around the back of the truck. I went up behind Cotton. And I didn't know what to say. So I'm standing there with a gun going, "Hey, gun!"
Cotton starts walking towards her. But when he starts walking towards her, I say,
Stop, she'll shoot! She'll shoot, stop!
I was numb. And he grabbed the barrel of the gun. And it scared me. So I put my other hand up on the handle to keep a grip on it. And I hit the button for the safety. And when I pulled and he pulled, it went off.
What you'd hear George and Jennifer saying would be a lie. And there's no doubt in my mind, I know exactly what he's saying.
Shoot him! Shoot him!
He said, shoot him. That's when me and Cotton turned around and we saw Jennifer. She was already in a shooting stance with a gun in her hand pointing at us. She shot Cotton before he even had a chance to go for his gun. What I've told is the truth. I went for my weapon and started aiming at Jennifer.
I remember hearing gunfire, so I fired the gun. Not to hit him or just like startle him.
I could see out of the corner of my eye, George went towards the front of the vehicle and got in the vehicle and shut the door.
I remember coming to my driver's side door.
She was behind the door at this time. When I shot, the window of the van just exploded. The gun clicked on me. I said, Cotton, I need your weapon. And I get it from him.
I remember hearing gunfire. A bullet came through the back window and grazed my face.
I couldn't shoot no more, afraid of hitting somebody else.
It's like feelings when summer finally comes. The clouds have disappeared.
we ain't about 2 minutes away from the scene and she wants to start kissing me. I'm like,
I can't concentrate, baby. I can't concentrate. Do you realize what just happened?
Baby, why are you tripping now?
Every cop and everyone is after us right now. They hunting us right now.
I don't know what you're
Right now, they hunting
I
us.
don't know what you're so worried about.
Just keep going. Keep going. Don't stop. Okay?
I went back to where Cotton was laying and to check and see how he was doing. It hurts to see somebody that you're real close with to get shot. Wondering, you know, what I could have done different to call or stop this, and why it had to be him and not me. Cotton was a lot more friendlier with her and George than I was, and I figured, why did she shoot me first instead of him?
We had 2 vehicles. We got to the van, parked the truck. My leg was numb, tingly. I I was like, I think I'm shot in my back. And I was bleeding everywhere. I got in the back seat so I could stop the bleeding. He got in the driver's seat.
The cuffs were loose, so I got my hands out, but the chains were still wrapped around me.
And we took off.
We heard about the event, and we immediately sent our investigative team. Well, one of the first things I did when I arrived on the scene is I met with Chief Washington.
Good afternoon. I think we got our vehicle.
There was blood inside the car.
Looks like low back injury, maybe buttock and hip.
It was very clear that she had some sort of a gunshot wound.
Let's go. Okay, we'll hold the scene until your crew gets here. Let's roll.
They had a car that's been left and traded for another car. The police department had witnesses that identified the car that they switched for. It seemed pretty clear that holding up was not what they had done, that they were running. Had they gone north, had they gone south, east, or west? Of course, at that point, we don't know.
We went straight to the freeway towards Kentucky.
I'm looking back trying to drive, and I'm like, oh man, because she's got blood all over her leg.
You know, I didn't think it'd be me that got shot. Gotta be you.
I'm really scared.
Don't die on me now, baby, okay? Don't die on me.
George kept yelling at me. I don't really remember the ride a whole lot.
I need you to stop somewhere.
We'll stop it, baby, okay? We'll stop it.
The only reason we stopped is because I couldn't go anymore. I needed somewhere where I could stop the bleeding. I didn't think I was gonna live. Within an hour, I will be dead.
I was freaking. She was bleeding bad, and I'm stuck with shackles still on and the chain around me, so I can't get out and do nothing. I was like, okay, I got a plan.
Through interviews, it began to become pretty clear that the track we were looking for was headed north. So we're in contact with Cincinnati, we're in contact with Dayton, we're in contact with Columbus, we're in contact with Cleveland, we're in contact with all of the marshal's offices along this route of travel.
So, on the spur of the moment, we went to Lowe's hardware store and parked in the handicap spot.
Hey, buddy.
I saw this guy and said we were handicapped and asked him to buy us a hacksaw.
They need rest, they need to treat wounds, they need to find a way to get food, and rest. That comes down to that. We've all been working. They've been working too. And if they stop, we've got them.
I told him that I needed to clean up. I needed to find out where these bullet holes are. We cut the shackles off first.
Finally, I felt free.
We certainly had to think about the possibility that he used her to get out and then would dump her and continue on his own.
So I got out, got me some air, and I was like, man, I'm free. I can't believe this. I had $6,000 and I had a vehicle. I could have left her. But that never crossed my mind. I wanted to be free with her. That was my reason I wanted to be free.
I didn't think you had.
So we laid down and started playing around. And I turned on the TV for some reason.
Underway for George and Jennifer Hyatt. 31-year-old Jennifer Hyatt was apparently wounded in the exchange of gunfire. She drove away with her husband in the SUV. After their collision, Tennessee, and a corrections officer was killed.
He died.
That's when I heard that Cotton had died.
Police are asking for public...
Cotton was one of the main people who helped me through the tougher times I'd encountered, such as family deaths and issues I had dealing with how family didn't care. He always had something nice to say to you, something encouraging to say.
And he said,
he was the one who was more spiritual than anyone else.
oh man. Oh man. He's dead, Chad. What are we gonna do now, huh?
I mean, I didn't even really know I'd shot him. I knew the gun had gone off. I didn't realize I'd shot him.
The fugitive couple was last seen in a minivan.
And they know we switched cars. They know what car we're in.
We're talking to the marshal's offices in western Kentucky. They find a van matching the description of the van the Hyatts had, parked in a motel parking lot in Erlanger, Kentucky. We were very excited. The odds would say, in most cases, that we're fixing to make an arrest here.
I was like, we've got to leave from here and put as much distance between us and that van as we can.
Yeah, hi. Can I get a cab to take us to Columbus?
I dyed her hair and cut her hair, and after that, she looked presentable.
Okay.
Ready? Mm-hmm. Ready?
I got a call from a friend of mine.
Yeah, what's up?
Who has his own little taxi business, and he said, you want to go to Columbus for a couple $100? I said, sure, yeah. 120-something miles, a long cab ride. I was told room 111 at the Econo Lodge in Erlanger, Kentucky.
We've notified everybody, and we've dispatched this information throughout the Marshal Service. So the resources there in Kentucky respond to this hotel, and we move in to capture them. George and Jennifer Hyatt had already shown that they were willing to go to a violent and radical extreme to accomplish what they wanted. So we were worried about what was going to happen next.
Go, 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 go! Get in there, come on, take the back room! Clear!
All clear.
Unfortunately, it's just another track on the trail.
Whatever was going on with these folks, it looked like they could use maybe a little friendly conversation, and I'm the chit-chatty type, obviously.
So what you gonna be doing in Columbus?
We need to get to a sales convention.
When I heard who they worked for, my first thought was, oh no, here comes the pitch.
Okay, we're here now. Want me to just drop you off at the front here?
When we got to the hotel, Jennifer asked if she could have some help getting checked into the hotel. And I said, oh, do you need help with your bags? And she said, no, we actually need some help with getting checked into the room. We've lost our IDs.
I'd like to get a room.
She gave me money to pay for 2 or 3 days worth of stay at the hotel.
Yo, enjoy your stay. Thank you.
I got them checked into the hotel for them.
room, and the first thing I do is turn the TV on.
Jennifer, who had no criminal record, may now face murder charges for shooting the correction officer.
I know that as soon as the taxi driver gets home, they've got this non-stop on TV. So I'm knowing as soon as he sees this, he's going to put two and two together.
Oh, baby, we gotta go.
And they're going to come.
We gotta go, baby. We gotta go. We gotta go.
He's like, I just feel there's something out there and we need to keep going.
And Jennifer gets up off the bed. And when she does get off the bed, she just collapses.
Baby, I can't move. No, baby, I can't move.
And I'm like, you go. I can't go anymore. I'm staying here.
I look out the door and try to figure out what I'm going to do in my own mind.
About 8:30 in the evening, I get a call from my friend who dispatched me.
Yeah, what's up?
He's asking me, was he kind of a thin black man and was she kind of a medium-build white woman? And I said, yeah, how'd you know that? He said, oh my God, Mike, you need to call the police.
What?
You've just taken the Tennessee fugitives from our area to Columbus, Ohio.
Hold on a second.
Because of suspicion of a relationship with Hyatt. She married him in prison this past May.
Oh no, not me.
I gotta go.
Please don't let me have been involved in this. I called the police and told them who I was and what I believed I had just done.
It was sometime shortly after 8 p.m. I received a telephone call. Once arriving at the motel, I parked my car and I sat and I watched and waited. Knowing that Jennifer and George were both probably very paranoid, my concern was essentially that they could be conducting counter surveillance on law enforcement, standing somewhere off-site watching to determine if anybody had realized where they were. There really was four options. There was hostage situation, there would be a murder-suicide, or shootout between us and the Hyatts, or they would comply and follow our instructions to the T. And so your odds are not very good. 25% chance that it's going to go smoothly and no one's going to be harmed. This probably was going to go bad and probably was going to be a shootout.
He kept telling me, oh, we're going to get away. We're going to just keep moving. We're going to get away. But I think in the back of his mind, he knew, because I knew. My feelings were numb at that point. I was numb. And I knew if I opened my mind to feelings, to emotions, that I would break.
I just looked at her and I was like, you know what time it is, right?
Hello? Jennifer? And then I was like, wait a minute. They don't know my name.
This is Deputy Nikki Ralston with the United States Marshal Service. What you need to do is get George. George is there, right? You need to get George, and you need to both come out of the room with both hands held high above your heads. Do exactly as the officers instructed you to do. Do not hang up. Just place the phone down.
I didn't think they would call on the phone and give us a chance. I just thought they would just bust in the room. From this point forward, we would need to decide what we're gonna do.
One of two things is going to happen. It's fight or flight. And they had already showed a propensity to fight. If there was going to be violence, it was going to be on our terms. And we'd rather that violence be at the door or outside the door. We asked Jennifer to open the door and to walk backwards to the sound of our voice.
Okay, she's coming out. She's coming out. Back to the sound of my voice. Back to the sound of my voice. Keep your hands and we can see them. Easy, easy.
I felt, I don't know if you'd say relief, but the anxiety of what's going to happen next was gone.
Keep your hands up. Keep it where I can see them.
I expected this really mean, evil person, and as best I could tell, she wasn't. The SWAT officers kept their weapons trained inside the room. I definitely thought that he had weapons. I thought either brace, he's going to come rushing us with a weapon of some sort, or he's in the ceiling and he's trying to make his way to another room. We continue to call out to George. He's not saying anything, and at this point we still can't see him. He eventually began to follow our instructions.
No sudden movements.
He had hands already raised. We asked him to spread his legs, and we had him turn around. That went totally contrary to how I thought it would go. He was actually very meek.
When it was over with, it was like I was released, you know? It was just over with.
I was finally in Boland's custody. I felt comfortable.
As bad as I wanted to be with her and as bad as I wanted to be free, I wasn't willing to hurt anyone to get it. I never thought it would come to the shooting, and I know she didn't either. So once the shooting happened, that took everything to a whole new level that neither of us anticipated or expected. And that's what I regret the most.
I needed to get back to myself. I needed to find me again, because I'd been lost for so long. I look back on it now, I've always had the attention I wanted. I just wasn't looking in the right spot. I finally, I guess, opened my eyes and stopped looking to a man to supply my needs and started looking at my family. I look at my children and see the things I did to them by trying to make a man happy. I ignored them. And even to this day, they still love me. As much as I put them all through.